Hey guys, so unfortunately I have had so many setbacks making this video. I was supposed to be doing a fundraising art challenge, which I'll leave links to down in the description, but my goodness, this hasn't gone to plan.
One of those many setbacks is the fact I sound like a robot, and the footage you see in the background is my video corrupting that I spent hours on.
The actual crafting for this project was very fun. It's unfortunate that so many things have gone wrong. I'm just so tired. So this video is much shorter and more surface level than it originally was intended to be. I hope this video can still do its intended purpose, which is to grow awareness for a fundraiser that's going on. The Crafting for Hope donation page is one of the links in the description. It is to help fund cancer research for children. The other link is to the art challenge, which is creating something in the 3 categories: miniatures, dioramas, and anything you want, to then submit it to possibly win a prize. By the time this video comes out, the challenge will probably be over, but I believe donating will still be available. This intro has gone on long enough. Let's get into the actual crafting. I knew I wanted to make a miniature of one of my characters, so I looked through and chose this guy. His name is EK712_46B, or EK for short. He's a robot with an air conditioning unit for a head. I'm using this drawing I did as concept art for the character. I bought this posable figurine online for the body. It came with multiple different hands and some weapons. I don't know if it was intentional, but it came with this stick, which I'll use later to create my own weapon for the character. The first thing I did was prep the body, so the paint and other pieces I wanted to attach to it would stick, so I sanded it. I also wanted to add some damage to it to look like it's been worn. Now that I'm done sanding, I can get on to the painting. While I'm painting the body, I'd like to explain EK's lore. He was just another common household robot, which many families owned at the time. His job ranged from cleaning the house to going on grocery runs for his master. Like he had done so many other times, he went to go charge in his charging station and wait for his master's next request. But the next time he woke was not to his master beckoning him, but was to an environmental threat to his safety.
Water slowly dripped through the ceiling onto him and the nearby surroundings. He did a scan of the area and found that he had somehow been charging for 50 years.
Unbeknownst to our little robot friend, for some unknown reason, all of the humans left in spaceships, deserting Earth. His master and the entire human race had disappeared, leaving behind an empty husk of society. EK scanned through his databank of protocols. Finally, he found a hidden part of his code that told him if his master or other humans couldn't be located to enable survival mode. He grabbed his charging port and walked out of his house, which was no longer a safe place to charge as it had started flooding. He stood in the rain, a little bit unsure of what to do. He decided the best course of action was to get to higher ground, somewhere that couldn't flood, to charge. Thus started the adventures of the last robot of Earth. Some unknown time later, EK was going on his normal route of hopping from one slowly degrading building to another. He was walking through a very unstable area of an old hotel when some of the roof descended upon his head, crushing the protective casing that kept his computer brain safe. He frantically panicked as he held his fractured head together. He saw in a window an air conditioning unit. He rushed over to it, carefully removing it from the window. EK gathered what data he could get from the situation and decided to gut it and use it as a replacement head casing. It took a while, due to the fact he had to somehow keep his brains from falling out while working on it, but he was successful in replacing his head casing. But this occurred in a similar fashion a few more times. Different parts of his body would become damaged and he would repair himself with anything he could find. The longer he trekked on, and the more broken he became, the more it seemed he slowly began developing what humans called a personality. I am now attaching some small greeblies that I have, to give it the look that he's been replacing his parts as he goes. Our little guy needs a weapon to defend himself from the annoyance of pigeons and squirrels. It makes him feel safe, so he keeps it around. Besides, he uses it for walking and keeping his balance. What I'm doing is I have taken the random stick that came with the figurine and I've glued some of this fabric around this gear. I have created something that looks like a crudely made weapon. I made EK this cape, not for really any lore reasons, just because I thought he'd look cool in it. I 3D printed myself a head that I made in a digital program, but this one's way too big. Okay then, let's print a smaller one. Whoops. That one's way too small. Finally, this one's the right size, but the hole to insert the head onto the body isn't deep enough. I tried a few more prints, but I couldn't get it to work. And then our printer broke. While we tried to figure out what was wrong with the printer we owned, a friend of a friend, Dar Harlock, Mandalorian Merc number 2863, was willing to print it for us. The first try, this lovely grid here completely malfunctioned and was unusable. Somehow though, he had the perfect random piece of plastic to fit inside, and it could be used as a grid. And frankly, I like the look of it so much better. Same thing I did for the body. I sanded it just in case, to make sure that everything would stick, and also to give it a battered and old look. I wanted to paint it slightly differently than the weathering on the body. After all, the air conditioning unit had been sitting in a window for 50 years. I glued some things onto the head, mainly just to give it more texture and to make it look nice. Finally, the best part, putting it all together. So this piece broke off while I was taking pictures of EK. I'm going to try to reattach it with some cloth and glue. I had such a fun time, even with the setbacks doing this project, and I'm generally surprised on how well it turned out. If you like this type of video, well, like the video, so I'll know to make more of this type of content.